Hello everyone and welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today I'm going to make a Z-fold card and I'm going to make a square card because I've got lots of envelopes that are 6 by 6 and not any cardstock that's already cut to go in them. So I thought I'd use the Lilypad Lake, one of the new sets, and make myself a Z-fold card. Now this comes with matching dies. I've only just opened it, as you can tell. I haven't had time to put them on the little magnetic sheet that I usually use. One of the dies, which is this like little tuft of grass, doesn't have a stamp that goes with it. But what it does have in this set are these little banners which fit the sentiments over here. And I'm not using those sentiments right now, but I think I will be using the banner shapes on lots of my cards. I particularly like this one with like the little pennant as though it's a ribbon underneath a piece of card. So I like that one very much. Now this was one of those sets that I saw at On Stage and I wasn't sure that I was going to get it, but once I saw what other people were making, I loved it. So this is the stamp set for today. And I'm going to be using the Balmy Blue, which is one of the new colours. And I've got Balmy Blue cardstock, but I don't have anything else yet in this blue. So I'm going to use the in colour papers, and I'm going to use the Blueberry Bushel, the stripes, the narrow stripes with the small dots on the back. So let's sort out what we need. The first thing you're going to need are your base cards, and you need 2. The first one is going to be 11 inches by 5.5, and you're going to score it at 2 3/4 and 5.5. You'll need another piece for your base card as well, which is cut at 9 1/4 by 3 3/4, and again it's scored at 2 3/4 by 5.5. So this one is going to form, the outer part of the card, and this is going to be the infold Z, like this. So let's get started up. So first we're going to need the bigger base card, the 11 by 5.5, and I'm going to attach the DSP. And on this I want a piece of DSP here for the front, and a piece of DSP for the inside back. And I'm going to use the stripes. It doesn't matter how you adhere this, you can use any of the glues. I just like fast fuse because I know it's not going to move anywhere. There we go, that's a nice little border. And then the same for this. Let's find the fast fuse again. Again, we'll have just a nice little border all the way around. There we go. Okay, and that's that piece finished with for the moment. Now you need to bring in your second base layer, and it's going to fit like this. So this is going to be our front square, and I'm going to work on that one first. I've cut a piece of DSP to match this at 3.5 by 3.5, and I'm going to use the other side. I'm going to use the small dot side, just so that we have some variety on the card. I don't like the DSP to be the same on every single side. And then we need a piece of white card, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, to fit on here. So here's my piece of white card that's going to go on here, and I'm going to decorate it with pieces from the Lilypad Lake. And the first piece we need is one of the dies, and it's going to be this piece, and it cuts out like a watery scene. It doesn't match with the stamp here though, so don't try and put the two together because they don't match. So this piece I'm going to cut out in the Balmy Blue, and I've actually already done one. And what I did was I put it onto the back of one of our Sizzix adhesive sheets, just so that when I peel it, it's really easy to stick onto the card. The die itself doesn't cut at the edge. You have to cut that off yourself. So, and what I also did was, to start it off, I bent it like this. And these little pieces that came out, I actually saved and used for the next piece of card. So might be easier to do that first. So peel these ones back, and what I did was I put them on the next piece of card for the middle. So I'll show you that one again in a moment. And then the bottom piece, which has got more of the thicker lines, that's the one I used for the front. And what I did was I stuck it onto the bottom of our 3¼ inch, 3¼ inch card, and in between all the little gaps I just went over it with my blue marker pen, and I stamped the sky. And this time, instead of my favourite crushed curry, I used Daffodil Delight. And then I stamped one of the herons, and I've coloured him in just in a very pale grey. I haven't put any other colours on at all. And I'm going to attach him with some of the dimensionals, because I want him to stand just a little bit proud of the card. Okay, so I'm just going to put 3 on the back there. Take the back ends off. There we go. And then I'm going to put him just at the left-hand side here. And his feet, I've left it about 1/4 inch from the bottom of the card. And don't worry that his feet look as though, oh, you know, they might get folded or crushed or anything, because I'm going to put on some little pieces of reeds. And this is one of the other dies. Remember I said there was a die that didn't cut a stamp, and that's this one. And I'm just going to attach these so that one is under his feet at this side and at this side, and then one is going over the top of him, just like this. And I'm going to use, I think I'll use my Tombow for this, it's just a little bit easier. So excuse me while I reach over and get it. Okay. So let's put a little bit of glue. You really don't need much. Once Tombow dries, it's a really good adhesive. It bonds to the paper really well. So that one's going to go fit to the bottom of the card here, but just under his feet. And then the same with the second one, just at the other side of him. Slide it in under his bottom. It doesn't matter if it sticks out over the edge of the card, as we've got the DSP going on there as well. Now, to fit the last one, I'm going to put a tiny little piece of my dimensionals. Let's have a look, see if I can find a piece small enough. It might have to be a side piece. I think I'll take one of these little zigzag pieces. Let's try that. It really is only a tiny piece. Pop that on there. And of course, if you need more than one little dimensional, depending on where yours is going, just pop on whatever you need. There we go. I just wanted it to stick out just a tiny bit, but as high as the heron. Okay, now the last thing to put on here, I'm going to add the little sailboats. And this comes as a stamp that stamps all 3 at the same time. You see how it's all 3 boats, but when you cut it out, it cuts out as the 2 sailboats and then the 1. So I'll show you. Here it is stamped. Don't worry about this little blue glitch here, because when you cut it out, you won't see that. And when you do cut it out, see how you get these two and then the little single one. And I've coloured in the two. I've just used my markers, nothing special, and I'm going to glue it just onto the card like this. Let me see, maybe I only want the little one. Yeah, I think I'll just put the little one on. And I'm not going to raise it up on dimensionals or anything. I'm just going to glue it straight down onto the card. Just so that it looks like it's bobbing around in the sea. There we go. So that's our front square finished. Going to pop glue on the back. Once you've got all your pieces cut for this card, it comes together really quickly. Just let me check I've got this the right way up. Yes. I'd hate for my zigzag to be going the wrong way. So there we are. That's that piece. In the middle, I've cut a white piece of card, and that's cut at 2.5 by 3.5, and it's just going to fit here with a small piece of DSP on the top, which is cut at 2.25 by 3.25. So, and I'm going to have the dotty side showing so that I don't have too many of the stripes. So let's pop that into the middle. Nice little borders round. There we go. And then last of all, I need another white piece, which was cut at 2.5 by 3.5. And so this is the piece. And remember, I said to use all of these. I tried to slide the card in underneath and get them to stick, but it wasn't having any of it. So I just took them off one at a time and stuck them down and coloured in between with my marker pen again. So let's add that to the card. There's no DSP on this piece. It's just a piece of white card that you can use for a sentiment if you want to. You can use it to write your greeting. But I'm actually going to make my sentiment, and I think I'm going to put it on this middle piece. And then I'm going to write on the back of the whole card. Oh, I don't want it like that, do we? It looks like that little boat isn't attached if I do it like that. So it's just flying in midair. There we go. And I used the little birds out of the High Tide set. I think they go well there. Okay. So to attach this to the rest of the card, it's going to fit like this. I'll just hold the zigzag underneath and it will open like this. So this right hand side piece is going to be totally flat, and I'm going to stick that on not with my fast fuse but with my Tombow, so that if I don't get it quite in the right place, it won't matter. I can have a little bit of wiggle room and I can sort of slide the card around a little bit if I need to. So let's try and get that centered a little bit. That looks good. Open it and just press down a little bit extra. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Now, for this piece to attach, I can't put adhesive on the whole of the back because when it opens, this second half doesn't stick onto anything, but you can bet your life once you closed it, it would glue itself to the inside and then you wouldn't have a zigzag fold. You'd sort of have a half fold. So I'm only going to put adhesive on half of this. And I know it's this half. And again, I'm going to use Tombow just so that if it's not quite straight, I've got that little bit of wiggle room. And Tombow really is a good adhesive to bond fibres. So it bonds to the paper really well. Okay, yep, I think that looks okay. There we are. So a nice little Z fold. And for the sentiments, you could add a sentiment on the front. You can add something here if you want to. What I'm going to add is a piece of white card on the back, and I think I'll probably stamp the heron and maybe the boats again. And then I've decorated my envelope ready. So just a little bit of the stamp with the water and some tranquil tide reeds that match these ones here, and the heron. I haven't put the boats on or anything, and then that will just fit in here. What I thought I might also do is just the back of the envelope where the flap is. I thought I could use a little piece of the DSP and attach it to the flap like this, and then just cut around so that the flap matched the DSP on the card as well. Okay, so there you have it, a quick, easy, square Z-fold card, and ready for any occasion. I think it makes a nice masculine card, and I think this whole set is going to make nice masculine cards, especially because it's got the little sailboats on and the sea, and ocean themes are always quite popular for masculine cards. So there you go. I will put the sizes of the card and everything on my blog, and a picture of the finished card. So thank you very much indeed for joining me. Please press the subscribe button on if you liked the video, and that means you'll be contacted just by YouTube to let you know that I've placed another video on. It's just a little bell sign, and it says, you know, that Crafts by the Bow has uploaded a video. So there you go. Thank you again. Bye bye everyone.